Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equities Story. I'm with the Wolf, and obviously this is just a general share advice and not personal advice. Wolfie, how you doing?
Well, I'm surprised you haven't made a comment on my Macron style look, with that open sort of
Tell me,
shirt, bit of
is he
chest hair.
is he going to win, or what are the polls?
So far, I think it's looking good for him. I think last few days he's improved his polling, so potentially he should win. But anything can happen. And you know what? I've just got a bad feeling that Russia will probably try to interfere because they 100% want Le Pen to win.
I don't know how Russia are going to interfere on this one, Wolf.
I don't know, but they've meddled with other countries, so you just never know.
All right.
Anyway, enjoy everyone. The Macron look. This is for you.
All right. Thanks, Wolf. Um. Oh my God, you worry me sometimes. Okay, Wolf. We're going to start off with two trades.
Okay, let's do it.
ALD. It's ticking a few boxes, obviously. Ampol, price of oil, higher Aussie dollar strengthening overnight, and we're starting to get this little breakout. It started to look, had a nice little buy signal a few weeks ago, but it looks like it's on that way to $35, Wolf. So I think we'll look for this as a buy under, let's say 32.75. And there's plenty of volume on this, which makes it, and we're going to target 35. And we'll go for, we discussed a pretty tight stop loss just under that 32. After all, it is oil, and who knows what's going to happen with oil. So we're most probably going to go for around that 31.78 level. Yeah?
I'm happy with that. Yeah, nice and tight, just in case oil goes against us completely, and even Aussie dollar, which could reverse, of course. That one you're not losing too much, but it shouldn't do that, right? Right now it looks like it's going up to 35.
Yeah, and the other trade we're going to go for is CGF, which is near the top end of guidance,
Yep.
which you liked. Were there any other stuff in that announcement, Wolf?
Look, you've got to like a lot of things. I think this is probably the standout trade of today and probably the week, actually. When you look at it, where the company is going, where it's at, the theme that it's in. So we've got a flight to safety, to value, to growth. They've got that at the moment. So super cheap, 9 times. I think what we talk about?
I think a P of around a 3 as well.
Yeah, so it's super cheap. You've got nice dividend yield. It's got 2 divisions. It's got the fund management, plus it's got pension and annuity style income streams for the retirees out there. It's probably also, when you think about it, it's probably a defensive / inflationary type story as well. So for me, it ticks a lot of boxes right now, Dave. I'm not a super huge fan of funds manager type businesses, Dave, but it's going well right now. So you've got to give it kudos, and you say to yourself, this is should what they've delivered today, right? Upper end of guidance plus pretty good outlook. I'm thinking this should get through, crash to that 750 resistance, get up to 8, and keep going up to even 9, because it's trading on 9 times. There's plenty of upside left just from the numbers itself to re-rate itself on what the numbers are at the moment.
All right, I agree, Wolf. So we'll target that 8, and then we'll lift a stop. How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Now, Wolf, one of our dividend stocks.
Just one more thing I have to reiterate. It's a longer term trade.
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely.
So I think I need to say that, because we always, is this going to be quick? Is this going to be long? You've got to take that 6 to 12 month view at least with GF.
Yeah, look how it moves. It's look
solid.
here. Yeah, look here, when they had that breakdown, it actually came down to trend. It actually, it took a while before it even got up to 7. So, but anyway, good looking chart, good company, good results. That's what we want to see. And breaking out. So why wouldn't you buy that? It's ticking a lot of boxes. So two trades I really like, and obviously a nice stop loss just around that 639 level. Wolf, PTB, one of our dividend plays, not only pays a great dividend, but again, a superb announcement, up 10%. Actually, if it stays like this, I mean, this one's lightly traded, so I'm not going to put it on as a trade here at Equity Story, but you all know that we love buying. We're already holding this as one of our dividend plays, but we love buying stocks with earnings upgrades. This one again, what, 3 in the last
6 months, I think.
3,
Yeah. So you can't ask for any more than that, Dave. And you got a great dividend to boot. Surely this has to hold up for me, right? On those trend lines. In fact, it probably should go up.
Yeah, no, listen, absolutely love it. For me, it looks absolutely fantastic. So, again, obviously this will be on, if this looks like this, Friday close, this is obviously going to be on Einstein's. It looks very, very, very good. Wolf, another one of our stories we're trending at the moment, STO. Again, good announcement. Why wouldn't you buy that? We certainly wouldn't be selling it right now. It does look like it's on the way up there towards $9. It looks excellent. AV1 came out with their announcement. 3 million raised with so this, they didn't go to the market. They just raised that money as a loan with some shareholders.
Yeah, but I think the convertible note, I think coupon rate was about 8%, if I remember right.
Yeah. And I think they have the right to sort of pay that back without the note being converted. My sense is that they'll convert those notes. I think this is. It looks to me like sometimes, Wolf, when companies start doing it looks to me like a little bit of a thank you deal to some investors in the company. I just got that impression. I don't know if I could be wrong.
Yeah, look, unfortunately at the moment, these sort of stocks are just not the flavor of the month, right? So it's nice little pickup for them, I suppose. Put more money into the kitty, and I think they said they're going to use it to accelerate the marketing and everything else, so potentially speed up the growth, right? But there's just no interest in the story right now. It's just wallowing.
But a company that we do like, and certainly I think he's a great little CEO. We interviewed him. I won't say little; he's a big guy, but he's absolutely. Well, he's not big. He's like your. He's
a little tacker like me.
Well, yeah, but you're not little. I suppose you're little. No, he's bigger than you.
Thanks.
He's bigger than you. But he's I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what he is. He's a lovely guy, right? Yeah. So we like him. I don't know what that means really, but we do like him. So he's a good guy to have a drink with, certainly.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Dave, I think if you're out, you certainly will not be getting in yet. If you're in, if you haven't got out yet, you're probably still using that 10, maybe 9.5 cents is the last defense.
Wolf, play it by the charts. If you're not in, wait till it's over 13. See it swing. It doesn't matter if the story's going to happen. It's going to go to $1, right? So whether you buy it at 10 cents or 13 cents or 14 cents, does it really matter? You just want to buy it when it's it's happening, don't you?
Absolutely. And the other thing is we've got to wait for that swing again in the tech stories, and the tech stories are still getting hammered. Yeah,
not a good night for them last night, Wolf. And you could see, Netflix. You're talking about that, and
yeah, it's even uglier than the actual aftermarket yesterday. We were talking 25%. It actually went down 35%.
It's ugly that. It's come back down. We said there was a little bit of noise around there. Maybe it's going to come down there, and but yeah, got absolutely hammered. But c'est la vie. We still like our Netflix, don't we?
We do. We still watch it.
We still watch it. Now, Wolf, Evolution. Now the gold stories are up today. A little bit surprised Evolution's down because you didn't mind that announcement. You thought it was okay.
No, I didn't. But the thing is, it's always about what the market expectations are, especially on the mining side, right? Where they'll probably talk about guidance. Then you've got your brokers that will probably do their own assumptions and numbers. And if it doesn't quite hit it, doesn't matter how good the announcement might be, unfortunately, it's probably going to be a bit of selling pressure. Overall, when you look at Evolution's announcement today, they actually did okay on the cost front, so they reduced that. I think they reiterated the guidance in a way that they were pretty excited about the copper, which they have now 100% off at Ernest Henry up in Queensland. So overall, I think I don't mind it at all, but you've got to respect the market's views on this, and you've got to respect the charts. So it's still a hold, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, they didn't have a few. Also, they came out with some drill results on Musgrave. They didn't have a few bad 19 meters at 4.43.
Yeah. Look, it's not a bad company at all, Dave. It's definitely tradable. It's just sometimes you get a little bit of a hiccup when it comes to quarterlies, when something doesn't maybe quite add up to a couple of brokers.
BHP. Now they're struggling now, Wolf. Again, they're really struggling around that 55 cents mark. And again, the price action so far this week, not brilliant. Now, you need to see where it is by the end of the week, but certainly if you're in this, your stop loss, if you're trading, it would be just under that $50 level.
Yeah.
What did you
I
see?
think, Dave, I think I'm going to maybe even trump you on that if I can. And I'm thinking take your profits now, fundamentally. The result wasn't bad. There was a couple of things in there that they had to revise down, and that was the copper side of things. And there was another, a nickel. That was the two that had to revise down due to the Escondida worker shortages. So with, at least with Rio, I think they fairly much said that everything is still intact guidance, while BHP has actually downgraded guidance in a couple of things. So I think maybe for me, it's had its run. I'm still liking it. So, you know, if you're short-term trading.
So fundamentally, you're a profit taker.
Yeah, I fundamentally short-term, I'm a profit taker.
Okay. Fundamentally long-term?
I'm a holder.
Okay. Technically, long-term, you're a holder?
Yep.
Technically short-term? What Wolf is saying, because he's just not happy. We're not going to give it that leeway of, we were going to live it. I mean, the technicals say give it a leeway 49.80. But what Wolf is saying, what's Wolf saying? Just get out.
Yeah, save yourself $1 just in case, right?
Yeah. All right.
On that 49.
Wolf, that makes perfect sense to me, champion, and that's why we love you. Next one, BSE.
Mm-hmm.
What you sort of like? I mean, listen, the chart's okay. Are you seeing anything in this story that's starting to get appealing to you?
Well, Dave, the thing is, it's probably flying under the radar in a way. It is a producer of mineral sands, just like Iluka is, right? But it is in Africa. That's probably the key here, where you might get put off, you might go too risky, whatever, right? But they're still producing. They're still coming up with cash flows and profits, and they declared a dividend that I think was 3 cents. So there's something to like. I mean, 3 cents is 30%, Dave. Sorry, 10% you've got right there of a dividend yield. So overall, I think it's a fairly decent story with a high risk attached to it. So if you don't mind that high risk, you're going to get a pretty good dividend out of it. I mean, probably a great dividend out of it.
And which country is that in?
Tanzania.
Okay, well, that's not too bad. I don't think they don't.
Well, you know, it's got its own issues, but it's exactly. I think you're right. It's not as bad as maybe a Congo, right? So maybe that's the best way to put it. It is still problematic.
Or Rwanda, where they're sending all the
yeah. So it is risky, but definitely less riskier than maybe something like a Tanzania. Sorry, like a Congo.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not bad. I don't mind it at all because it's a producer. It's actually paying a dividend, so you're going to get a good something out of it.
Okay, Wolf. We don't normally look at stocks like this, but Doc.
Yep.
So market cap 60 million, revenues around 60 million. So they're trading one-time revenues. The market not interested in the story at all.
No.
Do you see any? I mean, certainly technically, obviously, we wouldn't be looking at it. It looks absolutely terrible. Not interested at all. When do you think this story fundamentally could start turning?
There's two things. There's two ways it's going to turn. Goes positive, cash flow positive, and close to profitability, or the tech sector starts turning. The problem this company has, it's not only just because it's a tech story, and it's unprofitable. It's also in a foreign jurisdiction, and they've, you know, probably the riskiest. That's UK.
Yeah, okay, which is most probably as dodgy as Rwanda or
exactly.
Tanzania.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is a big issue, right?
Especially if they're based in Wolverhampton, where I was born. Then that'd be more like, more like I think Ukraine.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
No, let's not kid around. But you know, it's a story that's definitely delivering. I think in a way, it's growing. But the three things are going against it. It is the foreign jurisdiction is probably one. I just don't understand why you're UK based. Everything is based over there. You're going quite well. Why list in Australia? I don't quite get that, Dave. So anyway, yeah, you can't get excited, but definitely watch list.
Yeah, tell me
I know one of the fund managers used to love this story. Love this. I wonder if he still does.
Well, it's just he might love it. It's just the market's sort of fallen out of love with these type of stories, as you can see,
Yeah.
like 360. So
But isn't it funny, Dave, that you've got a fund manager that absolutely love this story, but they don't decide whether it's more of a what the market wants to see. You know, you're not bigger than the market. Doesn't matter how big your fund manager you are.
I mean, the growth is exceptional. So, all right. So, if you look at the timelines, have they given any clear timelines when they might be turning profitable?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I don't follow it super closely, but I'm thinking because they're still spending and they still obviously want to grow their market presence. And UK is very competitive, Dave, in this space. I'd say at least probably another 2 years, at least.
Yeah, you know what the trouble is, right? We look at Z1P today, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's the same sort of story, isn't it? They've got the spending to grow and to gain. There's no guarantees there with these type of business models. And again, Z1P put out an announcement today and struggling, Wolf, in America, which is where they went for their big growth push. They're really struggling.
That was the Trump card, the US, and today's numbers, they went great. But why isn't it trading? That's what I want to know. What's going on? What are we missing?
All right, maybe there's something gone wrong, maybe with the system, or they're in some halt, Wolf. We'll have to see.
Or maybe they're just scared to get back on. Damn it.
All right.
Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Right, BXB, Brambles. I mean, the stock's up 7%. The trouble is with this company. I mean, one is that it's not trendable. It's for the fact that I think you need to see the chart do a little bit more.
Yep.
The other thing is it's such a company that's so reliant on really what's happening in the world in general. It's hard to get fundamentally excited with it, Wolf.
It is, and then even though they came up with actually a very good result today, that because it's global, because it is reliant on logistics and everything else, and we know that it's a big mess at the moment, right? Plus, there was definitely some flagging of costs going up, especially for the wooden pellets, which I think the lumber, because of the Russia-Ukraine war, the costs have tripled. So gone from a fairly good state for them to now they have to pay through the nose. But at the end of the day, because it's a global business, and we talked about it yesterday, Dave, between you and me, we talked about that. I actually right now maybe I prefer the businesses that are just Australia centric. It's just less.
Well, you know what, Wolf, you make a good point, and you look, you think about stories like A2 Milk, and you question whether these will come back. When you look at these videos in China of people screaming out of windows, jumping out of buildings, right, for Omicron, which is a bit of a cold, right? The world's gone mad. I mean, what are China up to? I don't think it's anything to do with Omicron. It seems to be some sort of type of general control they're trying to put on the population.
And they do it quite well.
I know, but Wolf, it is. Wolf, it's absolutely disgusting. It's sickening.
But this is the point in case, right? Is that there's so many issues in different parts of the world. So if you're a global player, you're actually gonna probably might have a lot of issues in your business. There could be fires all over the places. So we're always like insulated in Australia. We're on a little island, right?
Well, we spoke about this earlier. If zombies took over the world, we'd be all right here in Australia. We're actually self-sufficient. It really is a lucky country. So,
exactly.
And is that making you really a lot more, I suppose, a lot more happier to just being in Australian stocks at the moment?
Yeah, well, Dave, that's why we've been doing so well with DGLs, with Matters, right? With MGH, all those little value stories in Australia that are inexpensive, that are growing. That's been going quite well for us. So we're seeing, GLGs. I mean, that's all we need. We don't need the world, Dave, right now. We're happy with the little Australian stories right now. And that's why we have to be very active and just keep looking at the trends. And right now, to me, world trend is not good. I'm rather be sticking to the Aussie stories.
Yeah, definitely. And one, I suppose, that's arguably does require sort of megaport, Wolf. Again, this is absolutely terrible in the charts. Looks absolutely awful.
There's a lot of love for this story, Dave, from fund managers to But the only problem is they are way too bullish on the price assumptions. So it's just too expensive. That's the only problem with this. It's just too expensive. You know, they might have a very good grasp on the business and it's going quite well and so on, but the growth just does not justify the valuation right now for this. It has to come down lower. I think.
Wolf, you know, it's going to come down a lot. I think it's going to come. If you look at before when it's had a bit of a sell-off, it's actually pivoted quite nicely. And that we've seen a different type of price action. We've seen it come down, find a base, and then go lower, which is, you know, very negative, I tell you.
Yeah. In this market, when you've got a tech sell-off, they don't like companies that are burning through buckets of cash, and your growth is fairly low. I mean, single digits is not great. And when your company coming up, you know, first headline is strong growth, and you're coming up with single digits, the credibility is probably just going out the window.
Yeah, Wolf, this is the worst. It's the worst it's ever traded. Certainly looks like. Look where it was. Certainly, this could come down here to this $8, $6 level, couldn't it?
I love the story, but I'm probably not going to be paying for it anything more than $6, $7, or $8. So I need to see it come down further.
Wolf, Cogstate, CGC, yes. Again, looking very solid, the chart, right? It's holding up very well. It most probably technically needs to get over 250 to get some traction, Wolf. What did you make of this announcement?
Yeah, not bad. Look, good little updates. Steady as she goes. Fairly consistent with what they were saying previously, Dave. So well on track. It is lightly traded. That's the one thing that's positive and negative in a way. A lot of stocks, if they are lightly traded. But for me, if you're in it, you're hold. But I would not be getting excited getting into it. There was not enough incentive for me to get in.
All right, and now I've got PTG as well. Again, Wolf. I think, what was it? Revenue up 20%.
Yeah, look, overall, Dave, year on year, they are on target to grow by about 100%. Right, so from just over 10 to probably going over 20 mil. That is pretty strong growth, pretty extraordinary. We know that the team is very good. We talked to Johanna, right, on our little video. The only thing, of course, going against it is the tech story. And there's just no love for these things, is it, right now?
Definitely, it's certainly it's not being fairly treated by the market, but get it on your watch list. I mean, if it starts moving, gets back over 50 cents, starts to swing, we're in, because the story's winning, Wolf. Behind the scenes.
Look, the weight of numbers eventually, we'll see. Doesn't matter if the tech stories are not trending. The weight of numbers will eventually push this up, right? Because you can't just, you can't be giving these shares away when they sort of might start hitting 20, 30, 40 million, 50 million in revenues, and you're trading at this sort of level. So it's probably just time, as long as, of course, that they keep delivering. The other beautiful thing about the company is, every person we talked about on our videos, Dave, one of my questions is, how are you managing your cash flows? Because we've seen companies get absolutely hammered if they blow out on the bottom line. And they've delivered, and again, a very, very strict quarter of good cash flows, and they were positive. So for me, that's another big box tick, Dave, that's saying that they are, while growth is important, they are concentrating also and focusing on making sure that they don't have to go to the market every 5 seconds.
Right. Well, just having a quick sort of look at the buy signals. I think, I'm surprised to see a lot of the gold stocks actually holding up quite well today, with gold a little bit down last night. But I think the general theme of gold is still looking onwards and upwards. Good to see some of the energy stocks like Paladin, obviously ALD, which are putting on a trend, looking pretty good. BOE, which is, again, holding up very, very nicely. You can see a few movements here, a bit of green, materials doing reasonably well today. On the industrial stocks, Wolf, again, DGL, which has been a great winner, just still going on with it. SXE looking pretty strong. The little drone is still droning higher, isn't it? Not looking too bad. Maybe it goes a little bit higher. Interestingly, great to see, God, what a good little looking chart that was. And Wolf looking even better. I wonder if this could break over $13.
That's maybe the key now, isn't it? That's the key, that $13.
Yeah, and you know what? We're talking about Flight Center, like, hello, last week, what's going on here? Flight Center's starting to have a move. It looks like, Again, it could go on with it, maybe nudge up to that 24. Looks very, very, very good.
Yep.
And again, obviously Woolworth and Elders and Metcash, these food stories we've talked about doing reasonably well. And again, here's the tech stories getting hammered. SLX holding up really well, and this little CG, coming back down to trend. So I suppose from what 12 cents to 10.5 is how they move. But there again, this is obviously with the tech sell-off again in Wall Street. MAQ looking pretty good. ABB surprisingly going on with it, Wolf. And maybe profit taking. I think we said that it's near $6. If you'd gotten that trade, you'd be taking a profit.
I'd say so.
The utilities, obviously APA. I think that for me, if I was in APA, I'd be taking a profit now, Wolf. It's, we did talk about this one as a trade. Didn't sort of put it on officially, but if you're in it, there's a lot of noise at 11.50. I'd be getting out. And this little KPO actually moving nicely, Wolf.
Hey, I dare to say that I think the Aussie market is probably the best performing market for the last 2 months globally. We're actually almost at all-time highs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look at a few of these. Look from a few of these materials from last 2 weeks ago. Look at that. Remember how often we say you like that movement, and then don't worry as long as it holds on the shoulder.
Yep.
And then look at this, bang, up 24%.
Yep.
A little bit. Look, this little MRI did the same. Held up and then gets you another 9%. Even a little loss isn't looking too bad. What about KCN? That's a little gold play. They're actually having a little bit of a breather. So yeah, interesting, Wolf. Our market is not looking too bad, and JLG, which we had on a trend, look, it's starting to go on with it. You know what, Wolf? This could end the week at record highs.
Yeah, and that's a cue for you to get in, right? Pretty much. So
yeah, I mean, if it could do that, it's you're having a look. You're most probably going to play somewhere around 950 before it comes back if it does. Very, very good price.
What a great story this has been.
Oh, unbelievable. Wolf, listen, on that note, I'd like to thank you very much, and some amazing advice there from Wolfie. And we look forward to obviously doing this tomorrow. Thanks, Wolfie.
Yes. Cheers, guys.
Bye, mate. Bye.